Right, what's going on, guys? Back again with another video for you guys. So today we're going to be doing a tactics video. This is a tactic that I haven't done for a little bit, and some people wanted some updates on it. And as the game is kind of slowly evolving, it is actually a formation that I think is probably the best counter to the 4-2-2-2. No, not the 4-2-2-2, sorry, the 5-3-2. And what I think to be probably could be the most meta formation on the game now. But we'll just have to wait and see. But for now, I'm really confident in it, so that's why I wanted to update you guys with it. So if you enjoy the video, please drop it a like. If you have anything to say about the video, put it in the comments. If you use it as well, let me know. I'd love to know how it goes for you guys. And yeah, obviously turn the notification bell on if you want to know when I post. Obviously, guys, there's still 88% of people who watch the videos aren't subbed. All right, so come on, boys. We're so close to 2.5k, so please do me nice. All right, I'd really appreciate it. And also, we actually got accepted for partner. So again, massive thank you to you guys. The love that has been shown has been absolutely crazy. So what we do, we're going to get straight into the team. So this is how I set my team up with the 4-2-3-1. Now, ideally, some people might say put Trent left back, Lahm, but I prefer Trent as a box-to-box centre mid over Lahm, so Lahm goes left back. But some people might have a bit more of an attacking centre mid, but that's how I use Trent. It's a nice team. It's fully untradeable, so I'm happy with it. And then obviously we've got some of these on the bench as well. So as usual, guys, we're going to go from ultra attacking all the way to ultra defensive. Please ignore the balanced ones because I don't use them at all. All right. So, defensive style is constant pressure. Obviously, as I always say with this tactic, there's a lot of pros and cons to the constant pressure. Obviously, it's really great in terms of pressing the ball, getting up the pitch, winning the ball back, creating opportunities, and just in general suffocating your opponent on their top half of the pitch. But if your opponent does manage to break the press, which is possible, and if you guys want a video on that, let's hit, say, 100 likes, and I'll make a video on how to beat team press on FIFA. But you can beat the press, and it can become very, very complicated. Your team will fatigue, and a lot of the time they'll be completely out of position because they've just completely pressed the ball. They're not really caring about their position, so we've got to be really, really careful with using constant pressure, but it's by far the most effective. Now, the 5 width on defensive is what I'm comfortable with, the 4-2-3-1. I always say to you guys, no matter if you're trying to be more defensive or more attacking, moving a dial up and down isn't going to help. Generally, you're just going to find a width that you're comfortable with and then continuing to use that. So I wouldn't mess around with it unless you really, really think it like your game could improve, because I never do, because it doesn't help. Now, the depth is on 7. It's because we're just trying to get up the pitch and press the ball. Maybe 8 is as high as I go. I just try not to get it to a point where the strikers are directly in between the centre-backs and being way too open for a through ball. So that's why I generally find 7's the best, just so as we are pressing the ball, but we're still being careful with that counter-attack and those long through balls that we all hate, because we all know how terrible those long through balls are. Now, offensive style is fast build-up. Fast build-up is very, very good. I don't think it's as effective with the 4-2-3-1 as it is other formations, but I do think it is still worth using when you're trying to go all-out attack to score goals. So fast build-up, basically, it pushes your players out of position in terms of they make different runs. It's just a bit more scattered, and they're just so good in terms of getting the ball up the pitch fast on the counter-attack. As soon as you get the ball, they all just run forwards. So it can be really, really good if you're trying to score some goals. Now, the width, like on this one, I've gone with 6 width. Now, usually I would put it a bit lower, but because I'm going all out attack, especially with the 4-2-3-1, a lot of the way play is built with the 4-2-3-1 is in those wide areas. So you go from the left back through ball down the line to the wide centre mids, and they'll cut in, bring the ball into the centre. So I usually find it's a good out ball. So 6 is what I've been running for the ultra attacking, but this is one of the only times that I would change it. All right, so usually I would go with like 5, maybe 5 or 4, but 6 works well for me on the ultra attacking. Players in the box should be on 7. I think I may have accidentally just flicked those the wrong way around. So players in the box is on 7. Just to try and get as many bodies in the box, get those wide cams in, get the striker in, get the middle cam in, and get the CDM pushing into the box, trying to score goals, giving us as many attacking options as we can so we can try and score and get back into the game. Corners is on 3. I never go higher than 3 because I still want to be protective kind of on the counter attack. But 3, yeah, just to get the bodies in the box, and then free kicks is on 1 because we don't want to be countered, but also, you know, we're just shooting from a free kick, so what's the point in having more than one person there? So what we're going to do now, we're going to get into the instructions. So we have the striker on getting behind, stay forward. Now, obviously, we've got them on getting behind because of how overpowered these long through balls are. Obviously, this year they've added assisted through balls, and you can literally just hold Y and it just flies down the pitch, and it's just sometimes like 60 passing players are making Iniesta-like passes, so that is why he's on getting behind, stay forward. My cam is on stay forward, get into the box for cross, and then that's obviously because we're trying to build up play, get that interlinking play with the striker. So that's why he's on get forward, stay forward, sorry, and getting into the box for cross is on for those wide cams to whip in the ball. Obviously, as I've moved around the players for you guys for the start screen, it's moved all my players around, but you saw what they were set up like. So yeah, so like I said, get into the box across on all three of the wide cams, just to get into the box with the RBX crosses or the R1 square crosses that are really, really overpowered still. And then I do have both of the wide cams on stay forward as well, which I wouldn't usually have, but I only have it on the ultra attacking, which is just purely just to give more passing and attacking options going forward. But usually I wouldn't, just to help a bit more on the defensive side. Then we have one CDM on get forward cover centre. That would be my Trent. Obviously, the other one usually is Vieira, so he's a bit more of a defensive one. Trent is a really great box to box, and him getting up the pitch is really, really good for me for the most part. So he's on get forward cover centre. Like I said, just to join the attack and help score goals, and then cover centre because we have wide options, so we don't need to cover those areas. And then the other CDM is just on balanced and cover centre, as that is Vieira, who would be my more defensive DM. So that is why we are making sure that he's still sitting back enough where we can reset the play and start the attack again if we need to. And then both of the fullbacks are still unstable while attacking, just because I'm still wary of the counter attack, and I don't think the fullbacks will help much in this formation. If you think it will, then obviously you're more than welcome to put them to balanced or even join the attack. But for me, I just don't think it's worth it. Now, so we're going to go to attacking. So this would be, say if you're drawing, but you feel like you could press the ball, win the ball higher up the pitch, and you can really put your opponent under some pressure because you feel like you're the better player and you can win the game, then I'd advise using this. But I wouldn't start with this, all right? So always start with my defensive tactic and then adjust based on the person that you're playing against, all right? So the defensive style is on press after possession loss. So press after possession loss is arguably one of the most overpowered tactics on this game. The way that you can press the ball and win the ball back is very, very, very strange without actually draining your stamina too much, in my opinion. So the way it usually works is it will press the ball 7 seconds after you win the ball, after you lose the ball, sorry, to try and win the ball back as soon as possible. Now, obviously, there are cons to this because your players will be dragged out of position and it will leave you exposed on the counter attack, but it's pros and cons, and I do like press after possession loss. Obviously, it just depends on how you want to play, but press after possession loss is nice for me. I don't know why these widths are so high. So we have the width on 5 for 4-2-3-1. Now this is mainly due to the fact that I just want them slightly bit more narrow to try and build up the play with the striker in the centre cam. I still build up a lot of the play, like I said, a lot of the play is built up through the fullbacks and the wide areas. It's just a lot of through balls or cutting into the CDMs. It's a lot of passing triangles with the 4-2-3-1. But I did tuck them in slightly just so then I can build up the attacks a bit more with the central players. My depth is on 4, so we brought it down a lot since the ultra attacking one. With 4-2-3-1, it is just all about balance, and I don't want to be too high up the pitch, and I don't want to be too far back. I think 4's a nice middle ground for the 4-2-3-1, but obviously you're welcome to adjust it based on your style, I guess. Now, offensive style is on fast build-up. Fast build-up, like I said, it is really, really good. Obviously, if you don't want to use it, like with 4-2-3-1, it's, like I said, it's not as effective as maybe it is with a 5-3-2 or a 3-5-2, but it is still good and it is still effective. And I think if I'm still trying to press the ball and score goals, this is what I'm going to use over balanced. Obviously, that is completely up to you, but like I said, this is all personal preference. These tactics are made for me, not you guys. So just let me know what you think of them, really. Now the width is on 5. Like I said, we're bringing that attacking width. Just again, we're just trying to be a bit narrower so we can get a bit more better passing plays instead of being so rushed, and maybe just playing longer through balls and just trying to get up the pitch quickly. So that's why we're on a bit more of a narrow width, just so then we can build up the play and just take our time with it a bit more, but also still press the ball and just be on top of where the opposing players are. Now, players in the box is on 4. Now, obviously, this is a big drastic change compared to the last one. Now, this is mainly because I'm not so desperate to score goals, so I'd rather have the structure of the formation so then I can defend the counter-attack and also I can actually reset the play. Now, Something that isn't looked at enough is your ability to reset your plays if you haven't got a goal scoring opportunity. I think a big difference level between maybe a goal and an elite player is the fact that the elite players know that if they can't score, they'll pass back and reset the play, whereas a lot of goal players may just keep going and just shoot from an angle that may not be ideal and not get them the goals that they need. So that is why I've got it on 4, just for the ability to reset the play and give me more options. Corners is on 2 and free kicks is on 1 because, like I said, we just don't want to get counter-attacked. Now, the instructions for the striker is just on getting behind. He is not on stay forward because I want him to be dropped slightly narrower so I can build up play with the wide cams and the central cam. Because, like I said, we're not as desperate to score goals. We're more just trying to press the ball. Because obviously it's a draw. Obviously we're trying to win and score goals, but we're not going to ruin the integrity of the team just to score goals and leave ourselves completely open on the counter. So obviously getting behind is purely just for the through balls. Otherwise I would just have more balance. But obviously through balls are so overpowered, so getting behind is always the way. Now my central cam is on stay forward. Now that is purely because if you don't have your cam on stay forward in 4-2-3-1, I'm telling you he will drop and basically play like a CDM, like a third CDM, and it just becomes a weird part of the bus. So stay forward on the central cam for me always, because I want him to build up the play with the striker and the 2 wide cams. That cam is your heartbeat of your team, and it creates all those passing triangles. So please just make sure you have the cam on stay forward. Get into the box of cross on support for crosses. That is purely because of the R1 squares or the RBX crosses, so that is why we have that on. Now the wide cams are just on get into the box for cross. They are not on stay forward because I do want them to help slightly more defensively with the fullbacks, especially with the 5-3-2 and some other, like in the 4-2-2. You can get quite overloaded on the wide areas, so having a bit more of a defensive prowess on the wide cams can help. So that is why they're both on get into the box for cross. Now, you have your defensive DM that is on the stay back while attacking cover centre. That is just to defend and help your team defend the ball. And then you have your other cam, which is on balance cover centre, which is my Trent, who is very good at getting up and down the pitch and incredible on the ball. And that's just to genuinely help build up play and just to be a good part of your build up. And then obviously both of the fullbacks are still on stay back while attacking. So what we do now, we'll get onto the defensive ones, which are the tactics that I would use at the start of the game. And so let's get into it. So we are on balance now. Shock horror, as I always say. I like to start my games with a blank canvas. I don't want to go in too hot. I don't want to go into defensive. So balance is always a great way to figure out your opponent and how to adjust your game plan. I think a really big part of why people can't progress is they don't have the ability to switch what they're doing. A lot of people just stick with the same tactic and don't have the know-how to recognize how someone plays and switch it up. So please try and learn it. Try and learn when to change your plan, and don't just be stubborn and do the same thing over and over again. So yeah. So defensive style, like I said, is on balance because 4-2-3-1 is all about structure and it's all about the integrity of the formation. So you want players in their position. So doing too much pressing at the start is just too risky in my opinion. So that is why we are on balanced. The width is on 5 still. Like I said, that is my ideal width for defensive side on the 4-2-3-1. So that is why we're on 5. The depth is on 4. Like I said before, it's a nice depth for the 4-2-3-1. I found a good balance with it, so that's why we're sticking with the 4. Now the offensive style is on. I don't know what's happened here. Sorry, I apologise. So the offensive style is on balanced as well. Obviously, the last two have had fast build-up, but like I said, this is just the start of the game. We're trying to figure out our opponents. So like I said, because this formation is so based around structure and players been in the positions they need to be in, using anything other than balance when you're trying to figure out how someone plays doesn't make sense to me. So balance is always the way for me. The width is still on 5. Obviously, it could go up to 6, but I'm trying to have them a bit narrower just for a bit more safer passing options. Because, like I said, I'm just trying to figure out my opponent. Now, players in the box is still on 4. Like I said, it's all about resetting the play and just being careful in the box. So that's why it's on 4. But obviously, I've still got my striker and my cam pushing in. So that is why we're on 4. For corners, it's still on 2 because I do want some bodies in the box, but I still want to be protected on the counter attack. And the free kicks are 1. Now, what I would do with these instructions, they will be exactly the same as the attacking one. So I'll quickly go through them, but I'm not going to explain it because, like I said, I just done that. So obviously, we're going to start with the fullbacks. They are both on stay back while attacking. That is it. Both of the centre backs obviously stay back while attacking as well. You have one DM with stay back while attacking cover centre on their instructions, and then you have another one. Oh, actually, okay, so this was the only change I did make, and this was only because it was balanced. I had Trent sitting slightly further back just to be a bit more of a defensive block, especially with the 4-2-3 because that's just how I always played it back in the day. It just worked for me, so that's why that's why I stuck with it with a balanced one. But obviously, if you want to be a bit more aggressive, please just change it to balanced. It's just me being a bit more cautious, so that is why they're on stay back. But yeah, so both centre back CDMs are on stay back and cover centre. Both wide cams are still on getting to the box for cross and crossing options, but that is it. And then the cam is on stay full, getting to the box for cross to build up the play and get into the box with the RBX crosses, and the striker is in get behind to abuse the through balls. So now what we'll do, we will go through the final game plan, which is the ultra defensive. Now this is obviously if you're just trying to hold a lead, not concede any goals. This is the one that I found the best to beat, like for me anyway. So defensive style is on drop back. Just 4-2-3 on works well with drop back because it's such a balanced formation, so it covers a lot of the pitch. You have players in every area that you want them to be in, and it is a really good way to defend a lead. The width is on 5. Now I have this purely actually just for ways to get out of the press. Maybe I might have it a bit narrower if I'm trying to park the bus. But with team press on, those little chip balls to the fullbacks to get out and build up your play on the counter attack. So that's like it's really good with the fullbacks and the wide option. Sorry, so that is why I've still got the width on 5. And then what I do have, I have the depth on 2, just because we want players sitting back and helping defend the goal. Now offensive style long ball. If you haven't already, go watch my attacking tactics video. I explained how good long ball is. If you have a good high attacking position players, having your strikers and getting behind still, you can get some really, really amazing runs and counter attack people that are playing a high team press. So we're a big fan of long ball. Now we have width, the 5 width still on offensive. Now that was the same reason as before, because I want passing options to beat the team press. A lot of chipped over the top balls are really good to beat the team press. So having that the wide options just to make that a possibility is really, really good. Players in the box is on 3, so it's just slightly less, just bringing it a bit back. But I do want to still be available on the counter attack to score goals and punish people who are just being blessed by the AI team press. All right, and then corners and free kicks are both on 1 for the sake of just not being counter attacked. Now the striker is on getting behind, come back on defence. Now getting behind, as I've said the whole time, just to abuse through balls, and then come back on defence is just to help defend the goal. Obviously, like I said, this is a counter-attacking formation, but don't worry, they will still make runs with the long ball tactic even on come back on defence, so don't be afraid to use it. The cam is on come back on defence and get into the box for cross. Obviously, just in case we do counter-attack, those RBX crosses are great. Come back on defence to help defend the goal, and we do have them on conservative interceptions. Now that is so they don't lunge in and try and win the ball when they don't need to, and they hold their shape. And I have that on actually all 3 of my wide cams. The only thing I changed is the fact that I have support and crosses and stay on the edge of the box for cross for the wide cams, just because I don't want them pushing into the box. I want them staying back and trying to help defend with the fullbacks, defend those wide areas. Again, both of the CDMs on stay back while attacking cover centre. That is purely to defend, not really much else to say about it. And then same with the fullbacks, all on stay back while attacking. Well, yeah, guys, listen, if you guys enjoyed the video, let me know. Obviously, like I said, this has been my 4-2-3-1 tactics. If you want any other like formations, let me know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed the video, please drop a sub. We're trying to hit 2.5k. We're on the road to 10k. That's what kind of our aim is now by the end of FIFA. So I'd really, really appreciate any love and support shown. And like I said, guys, hopefully you guys have a great day, and I will see you guys next time, boys. Peace.